Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another fresh episode of Posts and Pints, the perfect MLS podcast. This is episode 42, the Jackie Robinson episode. There is no other. As always, my name is Matt, and joined by the best supporting cast since Grown Ups 2, we have Kyle, Dre, and Alex behind the scenes. Today, we are going to be breaking down everything that happened on MLS Decision Day 2020. Since this is going to be an episode completely full, packed from top to bottom, we're going to need another soccer mind to help us out. And by soccer mind, I mean a soccer head. And we're going to bring back our very good friend Connor from the Soccerheads podcast. Connor, welcome back, my man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. This is my first ever guest appearance on a podcast, and I'm very honored to be on the deadline day episode. This is pretty sweet. Lots to talk about.
Have you?
You guys are one of my favorite podcasts, and I don't blow smoke. I don't.
Appreciate it.
The only time I lie on this podcast is when I say I like Dre. Like, I really don't.
No, we're all lying when we say that, though.
Exactly.
I wish Dre was still alive. Fuck Trey, though.
Yeah, this Trey guy came into our lives, and it's just, we miss Dre.
I have a word with Justin about my double identity when he comes back.
Ooh, leaked info. But guys, as always, we have something to talk about before we talk about the soccer. We are talking about what is in our cups this evening. Now, I'm going to start it off. Unlike normal times where I finish, I'm going to be disappointing, and my streak, ladies and gentlemen, is over. I have a nice warm cup of tea.
Oh, this guy.
No alcohol today, boys and girls.
You could put a splash of whiskey in there or something.
Haven't been feeling too good. Not the cocoa, but I am. I'm just, I'm having some tea. I'm feeling good. Next week, I promise. Next week I'll be back. So, Connor, you are a guest. What are you drinking this evening?
So I am drinking a nice Molson Canadian beer, but it is the XXX version. I figured I'd break this one out for you guys. Yes, 7.3% alcohol.
How you doing?
This is the second time I've had it, and you guys ever have a beer where you're like, oh, that's like so good, and the next time you drink it, you're like, I feel like it was better the last time I drank it. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now, but
it's nostalgia.
Yeah, maybe I was a little more drunker.
Yeah, I almost picked up Molson today also. Then I'm like, let me get something else.
Yeah.
So, Dre, since you almost picked up something, what did you pick up today?
So, in honor of kind of when this podcast began and what was going on in the world, I am returning back to, I think, what the first beer I had in episode 1, and that would be a Corona, because coronavirus is still going crazy in this country, so I figured it'd be apropos to go back to a Corona.
Now,
there it is.
Wow.
If you're not cutting lime, is it even a Corona?
Yeah, dude. What are you doing? I mean, it's still urine, so what's the difference?
Less lime juice.
Speaking of urine, Kyle, you usually take a break from drinking pee to open a beer for this podcast. What are you partaking in tonight?
I actually took a break from beer to drink pee. Oddly enough. No, I have not alcohol today because I feel like my liver needed a break. So I'm drinking Wawa half and half.
Ooh.
You guys.
What is going on? Why does your liver need a break?
I didn't get up in time. Maybe later I'll have a beer. I didn't get up in time.
So you think Wawa half and half is better for your liver than beer?
There's no alcohol in it, I think.
Yeah, but God knows what Wawa puts in there.
I mean, it's Wawa. I don't trust them anyway.
Wawa puts hopes, dreams, and ambitions in everything that we do in life.
No, the only thing they put in things is the fact that I wish they were sheets.
Ooh.
Wow.
Separate argument, different time. Alex, to finish it up.
Well, kind of like Matt, I wasn't feeling well today. So I went out and I got myself a peach Red Bull and I put rum in it. The equivalent of like drinking
that sounds
tea,
good.
right?
I wasn't feeling good, so I just grabbed 300 milligrams of caffeine and took a fuck ton load of alcohol.
Yeah, I was like, I had to do a podcast. I'm not going to be a bitch. Let's go.
At least someone on this episode.
And now I feel like I'm having a heart attack.
My favorite person on this episode is our guest today. Not all you guys suck.
Yeah, no, we're the worst.
Fuck off,
who
Trey.
would want to be friends with us?
Fuck Matt and his mustache. I agree.
Well, guys, the countdown meter on the wall to my mustache is slowly on its way to 0. So,
Can we get a countdown? What is the countdown on it?
someone look up how many minutes it is until January 15th.
Too long to count on one hand.
You got
Sorry.
to keep it for November. I mean, that's
Oh yeah,
crucial.
oh yeah.
Matt's mustache is out of here. Okay, I put a notification on my phone.
God bless you. God bless
Perfect,
you, Alex.
perfect.
God bless everyone. But guys, we have some MLS action to talk about. No, just kidding. We only have MLS action to talk about. Guys, there were 13 games that went on in the MLS this last weekend. And unfortunately, you don't want to sit here and listen to us talk for like 5 hours. So what I'm going to do is something a little bit different. A deadline day special. 2 minutes of hell coming straight out of my mouth. Yes, that's right, boys and girls. I'm going to give you the highlighted info from every single game in the next 2 minutes before we break down the 4 biggest games of the week. I'm going to take one deep breath and one sip of tea, because I tried doing this before when I wrote this up, and doing this in 2 minutes is a lot harder than I thought it'd be.
One breath, no breathing. Mama didn't raise no bitch.
Sounds like my Tuesday nights. Okay. Okay, let's get ready to go. Starting off in the Eastern Conference, Maxi Morales' Dimes makes NYCFC shine as they beat Chi-Town 4-3 in an absolute thriller. Columbus united and conquered in the big ATL for a sweet 2-1 victory. Montreal Canada a late goal against DC to see them right out of the playoff picture. Cincinnati remains tanking for Zion as Miami Vice cruises their way to a sweet 2-1 victory and their way to their first ever playoff berth. Barlow and White sounds oh so nice as RBNY stuns the second best team in the MLS, Toronto, in a 2-1 defeat. Nashville rocks and rolls over Orlando in a late 3-2 victory. Good things happen in Philadelphia, and they're raising their first title because of it with a sweet 2-0 victory over New England. Now off to the Western Conference, where Colorado is rolling into the playoffs on a very high note as Houston's season ends in smoke. Get it? High jokes? Okay, cool.
God damn it.
LAFC and Portland loved playing each other so much to a 1-1 draw. They get to do it again in the first round of the playoffs. Good job, guys. Minnesota wins easy against the big Lunars in Dallas with a sweet 3-0 beatdown. Kansas City got to play in the snow while RSL got blue-balled in a 2-0 winter wonderland for the best team in the West. Seattle Stars shine as they completely topple their rival in San Jose in a beatdown of 4-1. And finally, a 10-man LA side, not in this galaxy, because unfortunately Vancouver did them dirty with a Canada-sized beatdown of 3-0. And exhale. Holy shit.
You did it.
Well, that's a lot
I'm impressed.
better than my farmer's market minute in terms of time.
Dre, you don't get any breaths in the middle of your farmer's market minute anymore. You have to do that.
I mean, I could probably pull it off next week in under a minute, probably under breath. It's tomorrow. Next week is probably the last episode, so of the Ballad of Freddie Adu.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Finally coming to an end.
Spoiler alert, the whole podcast is ending now.
Spoiler alert, go fuck yourself.
But guys, though that is all the breakdowns, and we're lucky enough we got to have multiple TVs up with multiple games. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to keep all that action going. But guys, we are going to start ourselves with the team from Philadelphia. And yes, that's right. Good things do happen in the great state of Pennsylvania to the great city of Philadelphia and Chester, as the Philadelphia Union, in a 2-0 victory against the New England Revolution, won their first ever piece of silverware. The Supporter Shield is on its way, and as of about 2 hours ago, we record on Monday nights, is in the city limits. So congratulations to them, guys. I mean, it's pretty basic, cut and dry. The Union had this right off the bat. New England really didn't look up for it. Sergio.
I want to recount, and I want the score certified. I'm not sure if it's a legitimate score.
All right. So unfortunately,
illegal goals came in after the 90th minute.
Yeah, I mean, it's just fraud all the way across.
But guys, I mean, there's really not much to talk about game-wise here. We're just really going to break this down nice and easy, and we're going to put Connor on the spot first because that's what I want to do. Connor, in a shorter MLS season that had an intro season tournament, or whatever you want to call it, a points per game system to get certain teams into the playoffs, is the Philadelphia Union the best team in the MLS?
Yeah, I think I would definitely say so. I guess, like you were saying, this wasn't a really huge surprise. The Revs, they were able to do some good things in this match, but it really didn't seem like they had that killer instinct. They were missing that kind of fifth gear, whatever gear you want to call it, because they did dominate possession, almost 60% possession. One shot on target with 10 shots overall, that's just not going to get you there. And, I think they're just kind of looking ahead to the playoffs at this point and then just seeing what they can do in that play-in match. So it's going to be very interesting. But, yeah, props to Philadelphia. They really just kind of dominated. Not really a team I saw. I was thinking that they were going to make it, winning the Supporters' Shield. But they came through, and they were dominant from beginning to end in the season and in this game. So you got to give them props.
And Kyle, I'm going to kind of lay the question off to you, but I want a little bit more of a twist. If there's one thing Philadelphia should be worried about before going into the playoffs, what would it be, or who would it be?
Who would it be? I would say the obvious choices, Toronto, Columbus, if they manage to make it all the way. I think Seattle and LAFC, they really have to be prepared for. I just don't think Philly can get complacent, even though they didn't run away with the league. They just need to keep looking at it one game at a time, like they have been. To go off what Connor said, I agree. New England really didn't come out with that killer instinct that they usually have. During I believe it was the first goal, Bedoya popped it up, and I just saw both defenders in the box just staring right at it. Santos just took two easy steps forward and was wide open. You just can't make mistakes like that when you're playing to not play a wild card.
Andre, to now lead this over to you, I have a little bit of a different question for you.
Hit me.
Can Jim Curtin and this aggressive style of play that the Union seem to love to play with, is this enough, and can the team keep it up through the high demand, low rest week playoffs?
I think they do, mainly because you have to keep in mind that this season is a truncated season. They haven't played U.S. Open Cup games. I don't even remember if they got into any CCL games, but that was out. And the fact that it was a shorter season with less games played, that kind of just means, the teams are just a little bit fresher and, not as weary at this time of the year as they would be in a full season. I think Philadelphia, the main key for them, Kyle already kind of mentioned it, is just keeping that mentality, not getting complacent. But they have the players to get it done. They have, youth on or off the bench, whether it's Fontana or Aronson. So I think that they have a good run to make and a good bench that could help them do it.
So you guys all make fantastic points, but I'm going to play a little bit of a devil's advocate here. But I also am not playing devil's advocate to the one thing Kyle said, and that's Philadelphia, do not get complacent. There's a reason why it rarely happens seeing the Supporters' Shield champion be the MLS Cup playoff champion. You need to take the momentum that you've built, and you need to keep it going. A lot of teams, cough, cough, we all know from experience, get into the playoffs and think it's all good and dandy because we have the Supporters' Shield, but that is not the end game. The end game is MLS Cup.
Are you telling me that you shouldn't park the bus 10 minutes into an MLS Cup game? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm going to defer that to the Chris Armas Complaint Foundation.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
finish it up. Congratulations, the Philadelphia Union. You guys deserve it. Your fan base deserves it.
Bet everybody that wanted Jim Curtin fired seems pretty fucking silly right now.
Twitter remains undefeated. Whenever I ever see anyone argue anything ever, I'm just like, let's see what Twitter has to say.
Yeah.
So in super unprecedented fashion, somehow the Red Bull strikers do striker things? Question mark? Is that a thing? Yeah, so we had a Red Bull versus Toronto FC game, and Matt, do you want to tell the good people what happened?
So there are these two guys on the Red Bull. Don't know if you've heard of them. We've talked about them once or twice. One man named Tommy Barlow and one named Brian White. They occasionally do their job. And today they surprisingly, or not today, it was yesterday, but they decided to do their job at the exact same time. And it's like, oh, wow. But overall, the Red Bull came out very aggressive. The Red Bull came out hungry. They looked for goals. And Toronto, I think, highly underestimated what the Red Bull were going to bring on decision day, because everyone thought that it was just Toronto who had something to play for, but the Red Bull had something even more important to play for, and that's not playing in the single game elimination, buy-in game almost. So the Red Bull overall did come out with a really hungry game plan, but I'm going to, I want Kyle to get in. Kyle and I were next to each other during this game. I mean, after those two goals, Red Bull looked a little scary to me.
Yeah, they just kind of parked the bus, which, historically works well for them. Not like we've ever seen them park the bus in the 10th minute and not make subs in the 80th minute. Oh, wait. But yeah, no, the strikers really looked alive in this game, which is just so great after seeing the entire front of the field just suck for 3/4 of the season. It's not all them though. Velo had another beautiful assist. They, like you said, they avoided a play-in game, and that's big. They needed to, because I don't think this team can really go on no rest.
But the one thing, Kyle, I don't know about you. The one thing that worries me the most is this Toronto team was in the pole position for the Supporter Shield for a huge chunk of the season. How is it that once again, it seems that down the stretch, they really disappointed me? I can't really have faith in this Toronto team getting into playoff time. I forget who exactly they start off with. Looking it up now. Oh, so they play one of the play-in games. So
yeah,
hey,
they play the higher seed.
Connor, you might be playing against Toronto.
Yeah, that's not ideal. Not what I'm looking forward to.
So my question about this game specifically is for you, Connor. So I think the Red Bull, I heard a stat that we're one of the last teams out of the entire really MLS to have a single player get to 5 goals. And I think that was, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was Brian White that got to 5 goals in this game. Seeing as how they did that against a strong Toronto team that was, in the playoff contention, which one of these teams do you think is better kind of suited going forward into this playoff structure?
Well, that is a good question, because the Red Bulls is pretty much how I wish the Revolution looked in their last game. So the Revolution, they dominated possession, like I said, but the Red Bulls look like they knew exactly how to kind of attack Toronto. It came with the strikers actually doing their job, which is always something nice to see. But yeah, it really just comes down to kind of, strategy. And then as a team, how can you go up against a team that's clearly more talented than you? So I would say that you always want to go into, a playoff series or any playoffs in general, on that winning streak, and having that ability to not have to play in that playing game like the Revolution are doing now, that just, is a huge difference. The only thing is you could almost look at it the opposite way as well. And then say, if the Revolution get a convincing victory, then that would be, it'd be a big confidence booster, but it's tough to look at, definitely. And I wish I was in the position of the Red Bull right now, but
I'm ready to get hurt again.
Yeah.
So the one thing I always worry about, though, when it does come to the playoffs is, again, I'm not really the biggest fan of the NFL, but you always see it, at least on the NFL format. When you're one of the better teams in your league, you get a bye in that first week, which is basically what all the teams who don't have to play that bye-in game have to do. They basically get a 1 week bye, or at least they get a few days bye. Sometimes I worry that, yes, I understand it's a couple extra days of being fresh and stuff like that, but if, like you just said, if you get a convincing win in that first game, now you have momentum. Now you're like, well, hell, fuck it, boys. We can fucking do this. Like, let's go at it. Come on. It's us against the world. Middle fingers in the air. Team America World Police theme song playing in the background. Like, fucking send it. I mean, I've seen it happen. Like, we're all, well, at least the Post and Pints guys, we're all from New Jersey, where the Giants have been much better than the Jets. And every single Super Bowl the Giants have won in the past decade, they've like gotten into the playoffs on the final game in the final minute, and then they freaking win the Super Bowl. So
yeah, against like an undefeated football team or something like that. But and then if we're comparing to other sports as well, MLS deadline day, I'd say is one of, kind of the best sporting events there is. I'd compare it to, decision day in the Premier League, that first day of March Madness. There's just so many storylines, so many things that happens. It really makes or breaks seasons, and it's definitely great that the MLS puts it on like this.
The only person who puts $20 on every single 16th seed and hopes that they it was the 15th seed, the last March Madness. I'm always hoping that one of those 16th seeds beats a number one seed, because if they ever do, you put down $20, you walk away with like $1,500.
Yeah.
So I mean, hell, Tom Hanks put like $5,000 down on Leicester to win the league, and he literally walked away with hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow.
Yeah. He donated it all, because he needs money.
Still fun though. It's still fun.
Yeah.
So on to the next game. In Salt Lake City, Sporting Kansas City and Real Salt Lake show us the meaning of having blue balls in a snow-filled thriller that put Kansas City on top, 2-0. What are we thinking about this game? Did the snow really make the difference? That ball sticking to the surface, did that screw Salt Lake at all?
All I know is the second orange ball or pink ball or neon ball is activated, I almost feel like all the goals should count as double. Like, it should be like, this is now more challenging, so every goal counts as 2.
It's just NBA Jam, but in MLS.
Oh, and if it's outside the box, it's 4. Do it. Fuck it. Fucking send it. I'm all, dude, anything to make the games a little bit more quirky. But no, dude, this was an RSL team who had, hey, thanks for showing up, guys. We greatly appreciate it. But Kansas, and you know what? You could even tell in the snow. You could even tell in a miserable, snowy game where possession was shit, passing was shit, everything was shit. Fucking Johnny Russell, all the way from, Ireland or Scotland, wherever he's from, looking up in the sky going, what the hell is this crap? Who chooses to live here? Even like he was having they were having a fun time, but it was also just not good soccer. But Kansas proved why they're the best team in the West, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what Kansas can do when the sky isn't falling.
I'm kind of surprised that over the last course of a couple weeks of the season, Kansas kind of climbed up there. I was almost expecting, Seattle or Portland to run away with it. And, Kansas does have that one, game in hand, I guess. But since it's on a points per game basis, they did make it in. But, I think Portland or Seattle have, if it was strictly points, they got the goal differential on them by a decent amount. So, congrats to Kansas for squeaking it out and getting in there on the points per game, rationale. But, you could say that they're the best in the West because, they played one less game, got the same amount of points. But I don't think they're running away with the West. So they do have some competition out there.
Connor, anything you want to add in on this, what was basically a Hallmark movie on...
And if you want, we could just watch RSL's goalie sliding out of the box over and over again, because that was my favorite part.
Yeah, you can't tell the lines when there's snow on the ground. All that good stuff. Yeah, I think this just proves really Kansas City, they've kind of gotten results throughout this year, and going away to Salt Lake with, with the snow and the elements and everything like that just kind of proves that they are definitely a team to be reckoned with going into the playoffs, especially with the usual cast of clubs that are up there at the top, like you guys were mentioning. So I'd say watch out for them moving forward. I really like them for sure. Kansas City.
I mean, anybody that can actually play for the last 10 minutes of the game is really going to go far in the Western Conference.
All out attack.
That's what it is, man. The Western Conference, man, those games could be 0-0 the entire game, and then the last 5 minutes is just gung-ho. Okay, that's it. Screw it. Like, let's do it. Like, this is it. Go for it. But it's exactly like what Dre said. Every single year, Kansas seems to be like, we always compare Toronto as that really quiet team in the East that like you don't hear of all year. And then it's the week before the playoffs. And then it's like, oh, Toronto's in second. And you're sitting here like, well, how the fuck did you get there? And I feel like that's always the same thing we're saying about Kansas. But that is a winning team. It's a winning franchise. Trust me, I know. Flew all the way there just to lose a U.S. Open Cup game. But overall, you know what? Kansas can't be ignored. They can't be. And I think because of how strong they are in the back and how disciplined that team relies on its coaching and its training, they are a team that's drilled to play the game plan out perfectly. And for some of the teams like Philadelphia in the East that might get a little scrappy, that actually could play into Kansas City being calm, cool, and collected. Kansas might not be a team you should be surprised about if you see them find their way to an MLS Cup final. And guys, the final game of the Decision Day games, it was on Fox Sports 1, LAFC versus Portland. And I have one general question to ask everyone. Hey guys, did you enjoy it? I hope you did, because in about 1.5 weeks, you get to watch the exact same game in the exact same place, and I'm probably guessing the exact time, because with a 1-1 draw and a late goal from Portland.
Wait, they can do that?
Yeah, no, they put the table. I think that's what I was more surprised.
Vice versa, usually.
I looked at the clock and I'm like, wait a minute. It's the 90th minute and they scored. Did they not start playing till the 90th minute? I didn't know that was an option.
In what basically is now a preview for the first round of the Western Conference playoffs. Guys, was this more of an LAFC, hey, you're shaking off the rust, Carlos Vela got a goal, looking good, or, and I think I'm more on this side, is this a little bit more about Portland's resilience? Hey, we went down a goal early, but we did not break. We bent. Oh, they bent. But they didn't break. So, Connor, I'm actually going to start this one off with you. Being it was the game of the night for the Western Conference, in your opinion, are you a little bit more, watching this game, are you a little bit more Team LAFC or a little bit more Portland?
I would say I am big time LAFC. Carlos Vela getting his first goal of the season, I believe. Was that his first goal?
I think it was up there. I'm
Fourth.
not 100% sure, but yeah.
Fourth goal. Okay, so he's had a couple goals this season, but he hasn't looked on top of his game. A lot of things going on, but him, scoring the last day of the season, it's a big confidence booster. This is kind of the matchup that we were talking about. That's big for Kansas City. Having one of these teams go down in the first round is huge. So I am big time LAFC. And I definitely think they're going through in the next round.
Is bold claims because, Portland did win a tournament this year. Now, Dre, I'll hand this one off to you, and I'll give you the exact same question, basically being a playoff picture. After watching 90 minutes of thrilling back and forth playoff atmosphere soccer, looking at this game, are you agreeing with Connor?
This game to me looked pretty even over the course of the full 90 minutes. So it's hard for me to say kind of what the results are going to be based off of this game. But if you look at season versus season, I give the edge to Portland going into the playoffs. Vea's just got back. But then again, in his couple of games back, he scored 1 goal in October, 1 goal in November since his return. So he has kind of picked up a little bit of steam. But I don't think he's fully integrated into the team like he was, firing on all cylinders last year. Meanwhile, Portland has been that full team squad for the whole season. So I give the edge to Portland, but you can't discount, Vea putting the team on his back and running for 4 or 5 games. So it's hard to say, but the better team, I think, is Portland.
Before I answer, I will give you the opportunity. In your opinion, are you backing LAFC, Bob Bradley and his endless wisdom, or are you going with Diego Valeri and that man bun that seems to be getting so better every day I see it?
I'm kind of going the opposite way of Dre. To me, even though Portland, for the first time in, about 5 games, figured out that there's stoppage time in a soccer game, to me, this just looks like a team that really misses Diego Chara. Their midfield is not as crisp as it usually is, and their offense, even though it was a little more on point than usual, than it's been, seemed to lack a little bit. And the only reason to me that they were left in this game is because Steve Clark would have had to start doing tightrope acts to be any more impressive.
So it sounds like he's going with LAFC, and I hate to split the room, but I'm going to agree with Dre. Much as my heart, my soul, my kid.
I just want everyone to go and listen back to like 3 episodes ago where Matt was shitting all over Portland, because it's there. Take a listen. He was shitting all over him.
Yeah, but he's been back and forth. Matt has like a love relationship with Portland.
The reason why I'm going to say I'm siding with Portland a little bit more is the fact that Carlos Vela has approached his return back to MLS very gingerly. And since his arrival, Diego Rossi is something I want to point out. He also has not been looking 100% now that he's not the number 1 guy. As well, they have had Bradley Ray Phillips was doing an absolutely wonderful job with them being the number 9, and now he's found his way back to the bench and playing limited to almost no minutes. There was this chemistry built in the LAFC team that seemed to be falling apart, and I'm still not confident with that back line from LAFC. They still never replaced that hole that Walker Zimmerman left, and that really concerns me. I'm a guy who I prefer to go for defensive football over offensive football, and I think Portland, the way they play through the back, they hit you on the counter, and it's something we talked about before the podcast. Once you get in single game elimination, you don't have to win pretty. You just have to win. And I think that's basically on the billboards as you're driving into Portland. It's like, hey, you're here. It's not pretty, but you're here. So overall, I really think Portland, I'm not sure if they'll go the distance. I'm really not. But I think in that first game, I think I might have to lean more towards Portland. But we're going to talk about that more next week with all the breakdowns. Now, Alex, the room is split, so I'm going to need you to be our little X factor here. You don't have to go much into it. Are you back in LA or are you backing Portlandia?
We're not posting pics publicly, right? So people don't know.
Not yet.
I'm back in the black and gold.
Yes.
And he's
Are you basically?
There's going to be too much crack and meth in Portland to get anything done.
Yes, I'm basing this off of jerseys.
I was about to say,
I told you.
Fucking with my method. My method's working. That's why I'm in the lead, Dre.
Yeah, Connor. Connor, I don't know if you've ever saw that old betting commercial that used to be in the NFL about a decade ago, where it's all these guys are in this NFL pool at the office, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, man, I don't know why, man. We keep coming in second, third to these 2 women in the pool. What the hell?" And then they find out that the women are literally betting on the teams with the better shopping cities. Ooh, Chicago has better shopping than New York. Let's choose Chicago this week. That's basically Alex when he picks his MLS team.
And what's that other example? It's like some guy decided that James Harden does better wherever more strip clubs are in a city that he's visiting.
That's the greatest stat ever.
That's a whole
You
different.
could take that to. You could take that to the bank.
Alex is
No
like
doubt.
Alex is like next season. I have a whole new forum to how I'm going to make my picks.
But it's okay. Next year, once the season starts up again, and Portland's scoring like 25 goals a game because crack's legal there, watch out. It's done.
True.
That's now how I'm going to start deciding which away games I travel to, is which city has the more strip clubs.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, where can I do crack?
Say, Dre, you live in New Jersey.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Dre, you live in New Jersey. If you look kind of hard, you can find crack.
It's not that hard to find crack here.
But as I was saying before, guys, that's only a little bit of a taste, as next week, Alex, Kyle, Dre, and myself will break down every single first-round MLS game and who we think is going to go the distance. So, guys, that's going to be episode 43. Please don't miss out. That'll be available next week or this week, depending on when you're listening to this episode. I don't know. I don't dictate your life. That's your job, not mine. But speaking of jobs, Dre, you host a little stand in this little gathering of people selling things to help benefit my life. It's usually called the farmer's market. So what are you selling the people during this farmer's market minute?
All right. So like I alluded to earlier, we are getting to the very, very end of the, chapter 1 of the farmer's market minute with the ballad of Freddie Adu. And last we checked in, he got traded to a team in Finland, and after literally 5 games, he's like, nope, too cold. I am going back stateside, and returned to the United States. Now, this time it wasn't a return to the MLS. He actually joined a NASL team in the Tampa Bay Rowdies. So he joins the NASL team and actually spends a pretty long stint there. He spends all of the 2015 year and then half of 2016. So he probably played a combined, 15 games, maybe got 1 or 2 goals. So still wasn't an impressive total, but it definitely was the longest he stayed with one team in a couple of years, to be honest. It's his 12th professional team since the beginning of this jersey, when he started over at DC United at age 15 or whatever it was. And then after his year and a half at Tampa Bay Rowdies, he gets a move to another NASL team in the Las Vegas Lights. Spends about a season there, and that is where we are leaving off for the next week, where we will finish off finally the Ballad of Freddie Adu with a 2020 update for everyone.
I feel like you're about to start telling us credit scores and mother's maiden name.
His mother's maiden name, yeah.
Yeah.
Street he grew up on.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, side note on a side note, to add to that story. First of all, if you haven't, give the USL some love. ESPN Plus has all their games. But number 2, dude, the Las Vegas Lights home crowd puts on a fucking show. And forget about going to see the Las Vegas Knights. Forget about seeing the Las Vegas Raiders. If I get out to Las Vegas, I'm going to go see the Light, because that's a fucking party. Speaking of a party, Kyle, we're all in this little dance called life, and you're going to break down exactly how our points, at least for the season, have been up to this point.
Well, since that's clearly not going to end anytime soon, I guess I'll have to start breaking these points down. So this week was another week of pretty much the same in the last few weeks. Everybody's just packed real close together. Matt, Trey, and myself all came out with 9 points on the week, and Alex at 7. So that puts us at Alex clinging to that top spot with 131. Dre right behind him at 130. Matt right behind him at 129. And me, because I suck dick for fun, still leading in the back of the pack with 127.
No, Dre,
he sucks dick for fun.
Dre, you should start really using a tushy. I've been behind you for by 1 point now for 4 straight weeks, and your ass smells, bro.
Bruh, listen, I'm getting that Charmin sponsorship so that no one ever has
to dude, you're using Charmin, but you're not tushing. There's dingleberries up in there. God knows. No.
Soft.
Crusty butthole.
Soft.
Connor, I swear to God, we don't always talk about our assholes.
No, I think
we do always talk about Tushy, because that is our future sponsor.
Speaking of things to wipe away from my life, guys, we are at the part of every episode where we break down what is exactly pissing you off. Now, Connor, you are our guest, therefore I open the floor to you. This week, this month, it's it has been a while since you've been on. So what's been pissing you off in the entire time period that isn't 2020 exactly?
All right, so before I do that, I'm going to give you since I won't be on next episode, I'm going to give you my lock of the first round. And that lock is going to be Miami FC. That's what I'm thinking. Nashville, they don't do anything for me whatsoever.
Oh, wait. Oh my God, am I just realizing now I am a horrible podcast host. Am I realizing now that the two new guys are playing against each other in the playoffs?
Yeah,
God
it's
damn it,
Nashville
Matt.
and Miami, man.
Matt, you have one job, dude.
Well, no, you guys are saving this for next week, but I figure, since I won't be here, I'm putting my bank account on that one. And also Vela to score. Those are my two bets of the first round. So keep an eye on those.
I think that second one's a pretty safe bet.
And then, so what's pissing me off is Ansu Fati and Kimmich, they both tore their meniscuses over the weekend. And then about 3 weeks ago, I also tore my meniscus playing a little footy. So I'm saying I did it before it was cool, but you just hate to see these young guys going down like myself. I was just getting my highlight package together to send to the Red Bulls. I mean, or Revolution, anyone that would take me. But
whoever.
One of those, what could have been? I could have been so much more. I could have been making my MLS debut. Oh, well.
Now, if Freddie Adu can still find work, you're going to be okay.
I appreciate that.
And Dre, I'm just gonna go around the circle of Discord video I'm looking at. And Dre, what is pissing you off this week?
I was just getting used to it being colder. I packed all my shorts away. I brought it all my winter shit.
You stole mine, you piece of shit.
You pick me next, motherfucker. And now I gotta wait a minute. It's fucking hot again. I gotta take all this shit off and get all the warmer gear again. I'm like, pick a fucking temperature, Jersey. Pick a temperature.
It's a hard one. It's a hard one.
You're such an ass. I have to go last now because I literally have to think of the other thing that's pissing me. Alex, take as much time as you want. What's pissing you off this week?
Mine's not that exciting, but it's very frustrating. Basically, I got pulled into this big meeting last week, and they're like, "Oh, your health insurance is going to stay the same price, but it's going to be better," and blah 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 blah. And he was basically just reading an email off to us. And then I get my new card today, and everything went up. Deductibles went up, in doctor visit, tier 1 went up, tier 2 went up. And I'm just like, oh, cool. Can't wait to save money by staying on the same plan. Okay. I'm just sad.
And Mr. Kyle, what's pissing you off this week?
I know me and Matt have talked about it already this week, but I figured I'd bring it up again since we have somebody that, might be more relevant to what I'm about to talk about than me and Matt. You had the perfect chance to reinvent yourself. You could have moved away from all the fucking bullshit and all the fucking hysteria of this and this and that and cheating and blah, blah, blah. And what do? You fucking rehire Alex Cora, you useless piles of shit. That's almost as bad as keeping somebody who's played 4 games in 6 years on your active roster while trading away all-stars every year. I fucking hate this team.
He only did it when he was on the Astros. Red Sox are clean. Cora's clean.
I just don't like the guy, to be honest with you.
You know what? I really couldn't think of another one because it really was pissing me off. But it's kind of what Dre said, but it's a little bit different. When I leave for work in the morning, it's 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. And I have to go out and warm up my car. I have the jacket, the gloves, and the scarf on because it's 34 degrees outside. And then I go out to my car for lunch and it's 75 and humid. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot. This is
for
fall.
What weather do you dress for?
I'm sorry, you didn't want all 4 seasons in a day?
That's a little bit of snow in the morning. I literally would all be covered. That's it. Why do people willingly live in New Jersey? Can someone educate me on this?
Because New York's right there and Philadelphia's right here, and we're in the middle.
No, it's just family.
It's the pizza and the fact that I don't have to talk to strangers because they're all assholes just like I am.
I'm going to agree with Alex. I think it's the family that's keeping me literally shackled to this desk.
Correct.
Now, guys, we do actually have a couple fan questions this week. This one actually, you know what? What a time we have a Revolution question. And what a time we have a Revolution fan.
Let's go.
We have a good buddy of the pod, Footloking. He shot us up on the Instagram. He was like, hey guys, how far do you see the Revolution going in the MLS Cup playoffs? Now, Connor, I feel like I would be a bad host if I didn't let the Revolution fan go first. So go ahead and give him hell.
All right. So, I have some tepid expectations for the Revs this playoffs, but I'd say, they're going to win it all.
I'd expect nothing less.
And how is it pronounced? Footloking?
Footloking.
Footloking, yeah.
Yeah, he's the man. He's supporting you guys. He's supporting me. So really appreciate all his comments and everything like that on our posts.
Yeah, dude, he's
appreciate it, bro.
Dude, he's awesome, man. We love this guy. He's always commenting on stuff. We appreciate him so very, very much.
Yeah, he's got a great FIFA Ultimate Team squad over there.
Oh, yeah. Especially anything MLS, we're all about that.
Yeah.
Dre, I hand this off to
My short and sweet answer is further than Montreal. That's about it.
Okay. Kyle?
I definitely see them getting out of the play-in. Depending on how the other game goes, they're going to have to play Toronto or Philly. I don't see them getting past either of those teams.
Alejandro?
Matthew, I'm going to be honest with you. I was paying attention to you.
How far are the Revolution going to go in the playoff?
Just because we got our man here, I'm all the way. All the way.
Thank you.
So we got 2 all the ways, and we got 2 at least.
I'm going to put my money on it. Fuck it.
Let's go. So they're not losing.
He's still too drunk to taste this chicken. I'm sorry.
I was about to say, Alex is still, it's all that Red Bull.
It was yesterday. It was the 10 games we watched, the bottle of Jameson and the 3 ciders I had.
You see,
I was tasting that at work today. Let me tell you.
I'd like to think they're going to get past Montreal, but I unfortunately will not give a definite answer because I have to do just a tad bit more research because I have a funny feeling Thierry Henry is going to do something, but I don't. And by
he's going to boot up himself.
Yeah, I was about to say, and by something he's
hop out on.
I can do this better than all of you. Get the fuck out of the way,
dude. Eastern Conference Final. Let me paint a picture. Eastern Conference Final. We have David Beckham starting at striker for Inter Miami. We have Thierry Henry on the pitch for Montreal. They're going at it. They're like, fuck it, let's do it one last time, Premier League style.
Yo, you.
Okay. All right. Kyle, mute. Can you mute Dre? I appreciate that.
Kick him out of the Discord. Got it.
Kick him out of the group. Got it.
And our final question from our good buddy, Kevin Lopez. He also was on an episode not too long ago. Please go check out
Kevin Lopez.
Awesome dude. Awesome dude. His question, I just got FIFA 21 on sale. Hey, good job, bro. Have you guys played it yet? If so, are you blown away by the animation and the accurate/detail of the players? All right, I'll start the answering this question. So I did buy FIFA. I am the idiot who buys FIFA every single year because I feel like giving EA all my money. The animation and the graphics, every single year they get a little. You're paying for an updated roster. But, overall, yeah, I played it. It's the same it's the same game every year. But you know what? I feel like there's a lot of people who buy the games every other year, and I feel like those people are probably the smarter of the bunch, but I'm just an idiot who enjoys giving my money away to very stupid things. Anyone else get FIFA yet?
Yeah, I got FIFA first weekend. I'm in the same spot with you, Matt. I think a big part of it too is, if you play pro clubs or something like that, I'm trying to convince a couple of my buddies who are like, FIFA 20 was the worst game I ever played. I'm like, no, this one is a little better. Trust me. Trying to drink that Kool-Aid, I guess, trying to help them do that. But I'd say it is a little better, but not much has changed really.
I'm behind and poor. I played FIFA 18 the other day.
That one's the best one to ever exist.
So one thing I always recommend people do to keep yourself like hungry to want to keep playing FIFA is play on like world class or legendary setting. Choose one of the teams in the 4th division of English soccer and try your ass to get them promoted to the EPL.
Yep.
Takes about four seasons, and yeah, when no one wants to come to your team, good luck building a winning squad.
That's always fun. Yeah, that's a good point.
So, Dre, we are at the end of our episode. So, do you mind telling people where they can find us, where they can listen to us, where our social medias are?
Absolutely. They're somewhere in the ether of the internet. As we speak right now, you guys can chat with us on our Discord, which we will include in the show notes. We also have an Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube that will soon be having some awesome content. So keep your eyes out for that. And then wherever you get your podcast, you guys can find us: Apple, Android, Google, all Stitcher, all that good stuff. And before we forget, let's let Connor plug his podcast as well.
I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, Soccerheadsfc. That is our Instagram handle. And Soccerheads Podcast is the podcast. Want to say that I've definitely noticed you guys are killing the Instagram game. I've been loving the highlights that you guys post. That's been huge in helping me follow. Because Soccerheads, we definitely focus a little more on the European side of things. My co-host, Blair, he is a stuck-up European fan. He always trashes MLS, but one thing he said is that you guys have been doing a great job. He's looking forward to that LAFC Portland matchup, so that's definitely a good one to look forward to. Looking towards the playoffs and all that. But yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on, and we'll definitely have Matt on coming up soon. We're hitting the international break in the European game so far. But so, yeah, it'll be pretty fun watching these playoffs, listen to your guys' predictions. Don't forget about mine, Miami FC, New England winning the championship.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yep, that's it right there.
Love it.
Friendly reminder on both ours and Connor's, please leave a 5-star rated review. Help us out, help him out.
Exactly.
5-star reviews, they're free, they're easy, and good vibes. That's what this world
good
needs.
Vibes,
a little
people.
bit more
Good vibes.
You can write something mean, but just make sure it's 5 stars.
Oh yeah, you can tell Dre he's a piece of shit and leave a 5-star review.
Yeah, if you're leaving a 1-star review, we're just going to assume that you're talking about Matt's mustache or Dre's crusty, tushyless asshole.
Wow.
You can review those directly to our Instagrams. Please don't put that on our. But guys, unfortunately, the MLS regular season has concluded. But that means the playoffs are just getting here. The Philadelphia Union are your MLS Supporter Shield champions, going in with all the power. Will they conquer? Will they succeed? Only time will tell. Guys, episode 42 is in the books. But please keep an eye out for episode 43 as we break down everything going into the playoffs. For myself, my name is Matt. As always, Kyle, Dre, and Alex, and Connor from the Soccerheads podcast. Thank you again for coming on, my man. As always, guys, the banter is always free, but the beer is unfortunately not included. Guys, we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
I'm ready to be heard again.